and welcome to episode 21 of the Think Tank podcast. I am your host, Randy Hayes. I'm so glad that y'all were able to join us. And at this time, I'm really excited to talk to a brother that I had a chance to chop it up to when I was at this Juneteenth pop-up shop in Embry Mills. I could tell he was a solid brother, and I'm excited to really get into it. He has a lot of pretty cool things going on. He's the owner and founder of MACT, Make a Change Today. Also has a really cool children's book. But without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you all Desmond Ross. How you doing today, bro?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you joining us today, man. Hey, man, just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what it is that you do, and where you are now.
Sure thing. I'm from the DMV area. I used to live in Maryland, and I was raised mostly in Virginia. I live right now in Ashburn, Virginia, Northern Virginia, about 45 minutes from DC. I work at Capital One. I am a manager that manages the internal controls in our finance
Okay,
department.
okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So
And one of
yeah.
the things that gravitated us to me to your table when I was making my rounds is that you had a children's book on the table, and I myself I have a 8-year old and a 4-year-old, 8-year-old son,
Awesome.
4-year-old daughter, and so I was like, man, I gotta get this. I saw the cover of the book, and I was like, man, you know what I'm saying? That looks like something that I definitely need to get into for my kids. Um, why did you decide to make a children's book?
Sure. The short answer is my son. So I have a son as well. He is 3 years old. He'll be 4 in December. It was all because of him. He's really kind of changed my life and kind of motivated me to just do more in life, especially for him and to leave a legacy for him. So as far as the book, I wanted to create something for him, like I just stated, as far as a legacy, and for where he can see himself in a book. Knowing that anything is possible. And as far as the plot of the book is, using his gifts, his talents, his passion to not only for himself, for him to help himself grow, as a black boy to a black man, but also to help others and spread his light and and show love around the world. So.
Go about and what does it look like? What does it all entail to put a book together? That's a seemed like it would be a huge undertaking.
For sure, it definitely was a lot of research. So I have an accounting background. I went to
Okay.
VCU, so I say that to say that I don't know anything. I didn't know anything about publishing, creating a company. So it was all just me, just putting my head down and researching. So I have to give credit, of course, to my son, but also to the pandemic. When you're sitting at home and your mind is just wondering. I was just thinking, hey, what can I do, to kind of inspire others? What can I do to inspire my son as well, to be great at whatever his passion is. So there was a lot. I had to research how to publish a book. What does self-publishing mean? Getting your EIN number, all everything. So it was definitely a lot from end to end. Knowing how to publish a book, contacting a illustrator, sending her pictures of my son. Here's the book right here is what I can show you. And so for everyone, my son is the main character in the book. So I had to send my illustrator pictures of my son so she can incorporate him in the book. So it was definitely just a lot of research, just understanding everything. I published it through Amazon and also through Barnes and Noble. So
So when we're looking at the book, we're actually looking at your son.
yes, this is him. This is him when he was about 2.5, almost turning 3 years old. He had the curly hair. Yeah. So there's some of the
And
pictures.
I can't gloss over the fact that you said you started. Did you say you started this book in the middle of the pandemic?
Yes, in the middle of
Oh
the pandemic.
goodness.
Yeah, sitting around. I was like, what can I do, for my son? And I came up with this idea because obviously at that age, he loves children's book. So that was the reason why.
Okay. And without, I guess
Yeah.
spoiling too much, what's the premise of the book?
Sure. So the premise is my son. His name is Carter. The premise is him to use his superpowers to help the world. Make the world a better place. But kind of, the usual is using your superpowers and abilities of like,
Your
I
gifts?
guess like using your eyes to I can't even think of the word right now, but like different powers that are kind of
Mm-hmm.
magical or whatever. But this is more so helping them out in the real world, helping the world out in real life scenarios. So, such as feeding the homeless, providing shelter for the homeless, caring for the sick, things of that nature. So,
Okay. Very cool, man.
yeah.
And it's like most children's book. It's not a super long read, right?
No, it's not a super long read. It's about 36
Mm-hmm.
pages. And it's just, the pictures are amazing. So, I have to give credit to my illustrator as well. But see, like fighting the bad
Yeah,
guys.
that's awesome.
So, like real life scenarios that we all have seen and we all have, experienced. And I think that was important to actually put that in a children's book for children to actually realize and understand and know that this is the real world. And so being able to apply whatever you can, your talents, your gifts to help others, that was the main point of the book. So
One of the things that I really appreciate about it, and I knew that I had to get a copy myself, was, um, you know, it's a term that we hear a lot these days, and that's representation. So
right,
in that book, it's always cool to have a book that encourages people to show their superpowers, but it's even cooler when they can see the hero looking like them. So was that
exactly.
something that you were conscious about when you put the book together?
For sure, exactly. Representation. That was definitely the key. So, raising a black boy, with so much going on in the world and so much negativity and so many obstacles that are in their way just to be successful and just live a regular life. That was definitely a key aspect of this book to show that anything is possible if you put your mind to it, and you can do whatever you want
Bro,
in life.
you
So,
know, um, as as we're unpacking the fact that you did this during the pandemic, I would love to know like what was your mentality during the pandemic, because a lot of folks they get stagnant or idle, and a lot of people kind of felt like they were a victim during the pandemic. I myself, I know that the pandemic was a blessing for me because I used to commute almost over 2 hours to work. I live down in Caroline County, and I was commuting all the way to Riverdale, Maryland. So, that was a
uh,
hike for me. So I knew it was a blessing. I didn't know I was gonna be blessed this long. Now my commute's like a minute to the basement. So,
uh, right, exactly.
but what was your mentality during the pandemic that said I got to do something?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously at first it was definitely stressful, hearing about this virus. Not knowing all the details, the ins and outs, especially having a young child. You just worry every day, especially about him. So the mentality, I'm always a person that just has a positive mindset. I'm always thinking, hey, what can I make better out of a terrible situation, if you will. So that was my mindset, the same mindset going into this book. Just thinking about him, I was like, hey, everyone is stressed out. Everyone's going through a lot. People are actually dying. People are getting sick. So it was like, hey, what can I do to kind of inspire others, and show that we can make it through this pandemic. So like I said, I've always had that mindset of always just thinking positive in every situation and make the best of it. And
And yeah, I would be remiss if I didn't give you an opportunity to shout out the fam. Because obviously, um, it would have been hard to do any of this without them on board, man. So don't forget to shout out the fam, man.
for sure, my wife Stefani Ross, and also of course my son Carter Ross. So they were there with me, obviously, from beginning to end. So much love to
That's
them.
what's up. If we were in
Yeah,
the church house or something, we'd give honor to God, and then we would you know um, shout out everybody, and then we get into it. So
that's it.
so
Yeah.
yeah, let's make sure to get that out of the way. So it's a really cool book, bro. Have you thought about doing something for an encore?
Of course. Yes, I am working. I've been thinking about working on a part two or a sequel, if you will. So I plan to work on that starting next year. Um, a little secret, I guess, is kind of, I guess, the secret right now. I can break the news. I am working with a writer from a animated network, if you will, to kind of put this book to life. So I am working on that. Um, it's been going well so far. That's a lot of preparation. Again, that's another field that I have nothing. I had no idea about, no clue on how to actually start that process. But I was blessed to be able to link up with this person and his co-workers to start this process. So the plan is just right now to write a pitch, and with that pitch, then you can, throw it to whichever
Oh, you
network
got some bigger
that's
things
willing
going on the works. Okay,
to.
I
Well, again,
I
so
hear you.
it's just a
Okay,
pitch. So that's the start of it. You write a pitch, and then whichever network accepts that pitch, then you can go on and work on the episodes and illustrations and the premise of the actual show. So I'm definitely excited about that. So wish us luck. Send us your
that's what's
prayers.
up,
So
man. And also,
yeah.
shout out to BCU. That's where my wife works. She's a nurse down at BCU. Yeah,
Okay.
BCU
Okay.
Rams. And
Yeah.
gotta shout out my children, Levi and London. So yeah, awesome,
For
man.
sure.
Well, we're gonna go to break, brother. I just there's so much more that we want to unpack. We haven't even really began to touch the surface on Mac itself. So do you have time to stick around for a little bit?
Of course.
All right,
Yes.
awesome. So when we get back, we're gonna talk more about Mac, the clothing line. I see he's repping one of his shirts. Yeah, shout out. I got the think
Yep.
tank
Yep.
on myself. You know what I'm saying?
I
Yeah,
love it. I
yeah.
love it. I know.
So we're gonna talk more about
Yeah.
the clothing line and also the event side because I understand you had an event last night, right?
Right. Yep. Last night.
Okay. Okay, so we're gonna chop it up a little bit more with that with the owner and founder Desmond Ross when we come back. Stay tuned. And welcome back to episode 21 of the Think Tank podcast. I am your host, Randy Hayes. I've been joined by none other than Desmond Ross, the owner and founder of Make a Change Today, also known as MACT. They have events that they do, clothing, and he also has a children's book that he's wrote. So he's a busy man, and he's a dad of a 3-year-old. So bless him. You know what I'm saying? I just left the threes. They tell you about terrible twos, but they don't tell you nothing about three, man. Threes is what you really gotta watch out for. I don't know if that was the case for you, but man, I
Oh,
thought I was smooth sailing when I got past two, but it's really three.
I know all about it. I'm going through it right now, man. This entire year, especially during the pandemic as well.
Oh
So
yeah, that cabin fever is real. Hey, brother. So I
yeah,
appreciate you joining us, man. And now I just want to talk a little bit more about MAC. What does MAC stand for, and what does it mean to you?
for sure. MAC, it stands for Make a Change Today. So when I finished writing my book, I was thinking about, hey, what can I do, kind of as a domino effect to kind of continue to inspire people. And I said, hey, why not come up with a clothing line, where I can have that on a shirt. People can wear it and make it a conversation piece. So that was the plan. So MAC, it stands for Make a Change Today. It's to inspire self-love and inspire positive change in everyday lives. So whether it's being a better mother, a father, being better at your basketball game, football game, whatever it is, just being better at it, taking risks, not taking risks, taking opportunities, um, and just going out there and just doing it. Seeking to elevate yourself in life and never to be complacent. So, and of course, the self love aspect is love yourself. You're beautiful, you're strong, you're intelligent, you're smart. Again, put your mind to it, and you can do it. So that was the premise behind MAC. Make a change today.
Okay, very good. So, what are some of the other things that you think we could do? What's something practical that anyone who's listening or watching a podcast can do to make a change? Because I would say that if someone out here is listening to a Think Tank podcast, they're already in the mindset of making a difference. What are some things that any of us can do, or some things that maybe they haven't thought of that maybe they could do to make a change today?
Sure, sure. I'm real big on networking, so I would advise, in your local area, go out to different networking events, talk to people, learn about what's going on in your community, and see how you can help. I live in the DMV area. There's a lot of charities and nonprofits that we can all be a part of. So one of my good friends, she is the owner of the nonprofit ARC, which stands for Acts of Random Kindness, and that's to help raise and bring raise young boys, young Black boys, and give them opportunities and education in the DC area. So I'm definitely a supporter of that. So yeah, I would just network and figure out what's going on in your community, see how you can help out, and just learn ways that you can use your talents and gifts to bring light to the world. So that's
Okay, absolutely,
yeah.
man. You know, there's so many ways that we can make a change today. I know one of the things that I'm proud of, even though it's not like a huge thing. In my neighborhood, I play basketball with the kids at the court and whatnot, and I'm I'm
You got to play some.
I'm coming to grips with the fact that I'm called an old head now.
Yeah,
And so,
funny.
a lot of the kids at the court call me Unc. And,
Okay, okay.
I think it's cool that they get to see that, hey, I've got a desk job. I'm still able to, play and make time for my kids and things of that nature. They ask me questions about how, what I do and how did I get to where I am. And, I also try to just
Exactly.
be a good example while I'm out there on the court and, make sure that, they doing the right thing. So it's pretty cool to just have that kind of access, to them.
Right.
I've
Yeah.
at my church, I've been a youth pastor, which is obviously something that makes a change today. And, I even coached, at the high school football level for a couple of years at Mountain View. I was
Awesome.
offensive line and defensive line coach. So some of those kids, they're adults now. They have kids. Some of them have kids my age, So I started coaching like right out of college. So it's pretty cool to see the growth in them, and we can make change in so many ways, man.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I definitely agree, man. Likewise with my church, just giving back and mentoring, especially Black boys. Knowing that I have a son, and just kind of sharing with them your experience in life, and telling them what to do, what not to do, and just always being there for them. So the same story, man. I think that's very important. It's kind of give back and kind of stop that cycle of the stereotypical Black man. Just stop that cycle, be a mentor, help out, and just talk to our youth. I think that's very important.
Hey, man, that's a dope shirt you got on there, man. What was the inspiration behind MACT clothing?
Yeah, so same scenario. Just inspiring self love and positive change. Just how you mentioned with your clothing line, just giving back and you playing basketball with the kids in the area, being that example, leading by example, and talking to them and sharing life and just being there for them. It's the same premise. That's the whole part of MAC. It's just being in our communities, helping each other out, coming together, loving each other, and being there for each other. and of course loving yourself. Never forgetting to love yourself, because you're awesome. If no one's gonna love you, if you can't love yourself, no one else is gonna love you.
Yeah, and you know what, man? I'm unapologetic, and I think Issa Rae said it at one of the award shows. I'm just rooting for everybody black, man. Everything black. I'm unapologetic with it. Some might say, bro, you got a clothing line. Why are you, giving space for someone else who has a clothing line? Well, first of all, what I'm saying, we gotta wear clothes 365 days a year. Sometimes we gotta wear different clothes in the same day. Most of the time.
Exactly.
And his clothes has one vibe. Mine has a vibe. Mine deals with more of a Christian urban feel. You know what I'm saying? In the past, I've shouted out. A couple of my cousins down in Atlanta. They both have been on the podcast.
Oh.
One of them has a clothing line called Nippy, ATL. And another one has a clothing line called Beat All the Odds. And so I mean, you're the third clothing line that I'm shouting out on the podcast, and hey, go out and get it. Go out.
That's
and
all
get
right.
it. I said it.
Hey, that's all right, man. It's all about coming. It's all about us coming together. As black men and just talking. And sharing our positive mindset and positive experience with the world.
And I think that we're, since I am an old head now, Desmond, when you and I were growing up, I feel like we were trapped a little bit more inside of a box as far as what was acceptable fashion wise. I think it's a beautiful time that we live in for expression. My wife and I, we recently were down in Myrtle Beach, and she threw on a Tom and Jerry shirt, and I threw on a Pinky and the Brain shirt, and we were fly.
That's it.
So it's really a beautiful time as far as self-expression, and I mean, what better way to express yourself than through the clothes that you wear? So.
Exactly.
So shout out to Think Tank. Shout out to Make a Change Today, man.
For sure.
And, are you back in Virginia now, man?
Yes. So I live in Ashburn, Virginia.
Okay. Now, you had an event yesterday, though, right?
Yes, I did in D.C.
Okay.
At Brooklyn on U Street.
Okay.
It was a happy hour event.
Yeah, Brooklyn. That's a hip spot, man. I always would, ride past it on the metro. I'm like, man, they got some dope stuff going on over there. I haven't checked them out, but it looks like they got some dope stuff. So what was the vibe like there, man? And what were you doing?
It was awesome, man. It was awesome. Me and my team, we were there. Again, that was our first event. So it was great that people, came out and really celebrated MACT. And just being there, and like we mentioned earlier, being able to network with others and talk about what MACT means and talk about the community and self-love. It was great. So It turned out very well.
So it was a chill vibe. You know what I'm saying? Like, you and I, we talked about, we also have something else in common, and that's cigars, man.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Well, so were there any cigars there, man?
Not there, because you can't smoke those in the actual event.
Okay.
But
no doubt.
Hey, that's a great idea for our next event. We might need a collab.
Yeah, absolutely, man. There's a few spots, especially in like the DC area, where they have the patios and whatnot. But we can talk a little bit more about that offline. We can talk about that a little more offline. But so what is the vision for events in the future with MACT?
Sure. So the vision is to have events and take portion of the proceeds and give back to our communities. Okay. Whether it's different types of charities in the DMV area. That's our vision. So kind of bring people together. Let's have fun. Let's talk about it, about what's going on in our community. Talk about MACT, of course, and just like I said, just networking all at the same time giving back to our community, to the less fortunate.
Okay.
So
What are some of those
yeah.
like organizations or causes that are really like dear to your heart or to MACT?
Sure. So really, right now, I'm focusing on ARC.
Hmm.
Like I mentioned earlier, my friend's nonprofit, which is just mentoring the Black youth and providing education for them and a way forward for them. So that's my focus right now, and then I'm going to branch out to other charities or nonprofits in the area based on what my team, wants to decide on.
Okay. Yeah, I see a lot of
So
dope ideas that we can put our minds together on. You have that
yeah,
finance background. When I was checking your page, I know a couple of your friends are into finances and stocks
yeah,
and things of that nature. I've mentioned on one of my podcasts before, one of my boys who's in the finance field. He used to volunteer down in D.C. and just teach like some financial literacy classes. So, that's a great way to give back to the community. I think as the adage goes, give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach him how to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. I
that's
think,
it.
some ideas like that would be something that I would love to collaborate on with you. Or, if we
For sure.
do something along the lines of food drives or
Yeah.
back to school drives, things of that nature. Um, I see.
Even like oh, sorry to cut you off. I love those ideas, of course. Even like resume building in the corporate world, teaching young men and young Black women how to interview. I think that's very important as well. So I'm all about that. I have my real estate license as well. So mentoring on how to, the entire end-to-end process of buying a home, from the financials to actually going out, getting a great real estate agent. So it's just the whole end-to-end process. So just mentoring in general, just giving back,
Yeah, what's the
you know,
goal
our
with that,
community.
man? What's
What the
the real estate license? What's the goal with that, man?
to help others buy, buy a house.
Okay, okay. So
That's it.
you're looking at more of like the retail portion of real estate. Being kind of the middleman and helping people get new homes and things of that nature.
For sure, yeah. On the resident side, yeah,
Okay.
for sure. That's my key. I got my license about 6 years ago. I always thought it was a great idea just to have something to fall back on. So I've always kept it active ever since because you never know. So that was it. And then of course helping my friends, buy a home because a lot of them don't understand that entire real estate process of buying a home. And mistakes can happen. So. I thought it was just a great idea to get my license, to help others out, help myself out as well. So I used my license to purchase my home.
Oh, really? What was the benefit of that?
The money,
Get
yeah, the money came straight to me. So
Okay. Okay. Very good, man. And
and just knowing the background of that process.
for sure, for sure. So, what does it take to get a real estate license, and how do you keep it active?
Yeah, so there's a class. For me, it was a 4 week class, a 4 weekend class I had to take, and also you have to pass a test, the real estate test. It's called a salesperson's license test,
Okay.
and to keep it active, you have to pay a fee every year.
Bro, so you would be at least the third guest as well that's been on the podcast who has a real estate license.
Yeah,
Two of my last three guests are realtors,
really.
and
Okay.
what can we do, man? I mean, like giving back to the community, is great. But I'm
Yeah,
also about that coin. Don't get it twisted. I'm about that coin too, brother.
for
I'm
sure,
about
for
that coin
sure.
too. So I mean,
I,
how can we put our heads together, man, and really, what would it like if we were to, all do some sort of collaboration, putting our powers together, like Captain Planet or
yeah,
something, man.
I'm here for it. I think that sounds good to me. I think it's just a matter of just having that phone call or Zoom call and just writing everything down and bringing it to the table and see how we can collab and bring our experiences, to light.
Okay. Well, bro.
So
One of the things that we're trying to do in the future, I'm setting up a few forums that are going to be on Clubhouse. With
okay,
like some of my previous guests, because by the time these episodes are over, it seems like a lot of folks are like, man, that was cool. I wish I had a little bit more time. I wish I could have got a little bit more information and dive deep into it. Um,
right.
you think you would be open to possibly, getting on one of those forums, especially when it comes to like, writing and things of that nature?
Yes, sir, for sure. I would love
Okay.
to.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah, sign me
That's
up.
what's up. That's what's up, man. Hey, I
Sign me
put
up.
him on the spot, man, but I
You
I
did.
appreciate that, Desmond.
No, I'm always here to help, man, for
Okay.
sure.
Um, so do me a favor, brother. Why don't you just let the audience know how they can reach you, how they can follow you, the man, how they can follow the book, how they can follow Mac events, how they can follow Mac clothing. Let them know,
Yeah.
man. Shout out those social medias.
Of course, of course. So as far as the book is available on Amazon and Barnes and Noble, as a hard copy and also an ebook. Simply search my name or simply search my superpowers, and you'll see this cover.
Awesome.
Uh, so as far as Mac, my social media, you can contact me on at Mac Official on Instagram. It's MACT Official. Also Mac Official on Pinterest
Okay.
and Mac Official on TikTok as well. So as far as the email, if you want to send me an email, ask me a question, anything that comes to your mind, info at macshop.com. That's info at mac, MACTSHOP.com. And my website for more information is macshop.com.
You know, you
So,
you touched on a couple of things there, man. When you were talking about TikTok, man, I was like, oh
yeah.
man, TikTok got Desmond too, man. What's going on? What you doing on TikTok with
Yeah.
it, man?
Just uploading different videos of my clothing line, just in a cool way, adding music
Okay.
to it. So from a business standpoint, you have to really see what's going on, what's the trends that's going on. Obviously, TikTok has like over 1 billion users, so I was like, why not? Just kind of get my name out there because
Okay.
you never know. That do 1 or 2 sales, people might contact me for more information from
Yeah, and
TikTok.
you had
So
something pretty cool happen with the clothing line. Don from Black Ink Chicago, he ended up, rocking some of your gear.
yeah, yeah, I reached out to his team, and they were definitely excited. They were definitely supportive of the brand and the meaning behind the brand. So I think that was very that was pretty cool.
Bro, what did
That was
that look
awesome.
like, man? I mean, you say you reach out to a team. I mean, like, would you DM, slide in the DMs, or what did you do to get that process rolling?
Yeah, I checked his page. I checked. I DM him, and then also his manager. I emailed his manager, and then that's how the conversation started. So we just went from there. They wanted to know more about the brand. Why I created the brand, and they was here for it. So
Okay.
that was really
Well,
it.
that's what's up, man. I definitely look forward to
Yeah,
chopping you up with some more. I've already let the brothers down here in the Stafford Fredericksburg area know. The living room group. So the cigar club. I let them know, hey man, there's a good brother up in Ashburn, man. He's doing some real positive things, man, and he shares our passion. So you're always welcome to come join us down there. And
appreciate it.
much love to you on everything that you're doing. I wish you nothing but the best, especially with that upcoming pitch you have going on. Y'all make sure to show some
Oh
love to
yeah,
Desmond. Well, at this
thank
time, man, I'm wrapping up. So grateful that you had a chance to join us on the show, Desmond. I look forward to networking with you in the future. I just really feel like you and I are, kind of cut from the same cloth and have some really,
Yeah.
common goals on how we can make an impact on this world, man. And it's always excited to see, other, brothers such as myself who are trying to do it, man. So this is a wrap for episode 21 of the Think Tank Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. Peace out and God bless.